Arabs, the response to the Iranian nuclear issue. So in the morning, we have heard some very good, some insightful perspective and analysis from Dr. Ashir Suse. And then, I totally agree with his, some perspectives. And actually, my paper is doing some empirical studies. And then how can we prove the Arabs respond the Iranian nuclear issues vehemently and sometimes, in fear? So that's what I want to analyze, in my paper. So, some basic assumption is almost same. And then, especially the Jordanian King Abdullah mentioned about Shia crescent, and then after the Iraq war and the emergence of Shia government in Iraq and the ongoing conflict in Iraq has the make worse of the the Middle Eastern politics, and then Iranian the Arab relations in specific. And that's why, so my paper assumes that Iran's nuclear program and its attempt to create a coalition of Shia-friendly governments have brought a new political ideological rivalry between Iran and other Arab states. And then on the basis of this assumption, my research hypothesized this ongoing ideological conflict has affected the recent nuclear competition in the region. Okay, there's a we so-called nuclear renaissance in the Arab world, and then the emergence of the nuclear development in various Arab countries recently. And this is, we can interpret this phenomenon as a reaction to the two variables. First one is the Iranian nuclear initiatives, and second one is the Shia crescent, the ideological rivalry between Sunni and Shia Muslims. So, today, it's a long day. I don't make myself longer, and then I don't want to make you existing more. So, actually, I analyzed, as I mentioned, my, some paper is, focused on the how to prove the Arabs respond to the, Iranian nuclear issue, and then, the discourse of Shia crescent. So I actually analyzed, the articles appeared in the pan-Arab daily newspaper Al-Sharq Al-Awsat. So I have to try to follow the, the content analysis in newspapers, Arab newspapers, but as you know, some Arab newspapers doesn't maintain very well about on the archives. So this Al-Sharq Al-Awsat is the only newspaper I have found in the website. They have some archives on the last 4 years and 5 years of the whole pages. And I just some focused on the some sections of opinions, how Arab intellectuals, the working in the Arab media, respond to the Iranian nuclear initiative and the Shia crescent discourse. And then I analyzed, some almost 674 articles between 2005, just shortly after the mentioning of the Jordanian King Abdullah of the Shia crescent, and then to the 2008. So I have analyzed 4 years of the opinion articles, news articles, appeared in the opinion section. So I try to analyze, some of these, articles in terms of thematic categories. And I mentioned, 4 thematic categories I used to, to treat the data I have collected. The first one is how the articles define the Iran's nuclear program and Shia crescent, or the term used to describe them. That's the first category of my theme. And second category of my theme is how they interpreted the reasons and intentions behind the Iran's nuclear program. And third one is how they evaluated the consequences of the Iran's initiatives. The final one, the solutions suggested by the articles to solve the problems of the issue. So if you look at the, this sheer number of articles appeared in the opinion sections in the newspaper of Sharq al-Awsat. So I just counted the articles include the term of Iran. So I want to follow so how some Arabs have interest on the Iranian nuclear issue and Shiite crescent. And then if you look at the table, so in 2005, there's only 85 the articles in the section of opinion section mentioned the term of Iran. But in 2006, the number has increased to 1,060. No, sorry, 160. And then 2007, 197. 2008 is 232. It means, the articles, including the term, or, whatever the content it is, the term of Iran, has increased dramatically during the last 4 years after the King Abdullah mentioned about the Shiite crescent. That's, the statistics may, some say, the interest on the Iranian nuclear initiatives or the Shiite crescent has increased among the Arab public through the lens of media, or maybe we may say that the Arabs has become more and more fearful of the Iranian nuclear threat. So that's my first data. And if you look at the second one, so this is the first some category of thematic analysis of the articles, and then so I try to analyze the newspapers, the articles which include the terms to describe the Iranian nuclear program and the Shiite crescent. If you look at the total number is 426. From the it has a little bit decreased from the number 674. 674 articles just mentioning about the term Iran, and this one is the article which include the terminology or describe the Iranian nuclear initiatives, and then especially the reasons behind it, and what is the some background. No, I'm sorry. How they define the Iranian nuclear the threat. So most frequently appeared the terminology, the definition of the some Iranian nuclear program in the Sharq al-Awsat newspaper is threat, tahdid, or some tahaddud, the min al-Iran. So it's almost 32% of some 426 articles. So it means the Arab public or some media are well aware of the the threat of the Iranian nuclear initiatives and Iranian nuclear program. And second, the definition the most frequently used to describe the Iranian nuclear program is the ambition. It's more, the softer, expression of, describe the Iranian nuclear program, and then it seems very related to the Shiite crescent, the discourse, and then, some Arabs believe, some Iran wants to be, the superpower in the Middle East, and then Iran wants to be a hegemonic power in the Middle East. And some occupies 19% of whole, the articles I have analyzed. And then the third, the definition, they, some Arabs, define, at least the Arab journalists define the Iranian nuclear program as a danger to their, the security or, the stability in the Middle East. And then, some fourth one is some a little bit, stronger. The, some expression is the intimidation from the, the Iranian nuclear program. And then finally, some just, general, some the terminology, some describing the phenomena of the Shia, some the ascendancy. Okay, they just, it occupies 11% of, whole the articles. And there's many, some the definitions appeared, so about, some return of Shia or, resurgence of Shia. There's many other, some the terms, some definitions I can find in the articles, Okay, and then let's, move to the, the reasons behind it, and how Arab media, defines the reasons, analyze, some the reasons behind the, some the Iranian nuclear program, and or Shia crescent. The most frequently appeared, some the reasons behind the Iranian nuclear program is the ambition to be hegemonic power in the region. Okay, why Iran wants to develop the nuclear power or nuclear weapons. And then, some the Arabs believe that Iran wants to be a superpower in the Middle East in terms of, economy, in terms of military. So that's, some the Arab, think about the Iranian, the nuclear threat. And this, some the reason, it occupies, almost, half of, some all the articles I have, some dealt with. And then second, some of the reasons behind the nuclear program or Shia crescent is the religious fervor. It's very interestingly, so a lot of journalists, they are talking about some of the Shia religious fervor, and especially after the some the Ahmadinejad's election and his some relatively conservative some religious background, and his strong his some sarcastic some critics about some the Iran, the United States and Iraq and other some Arab countries, and then some Arab some the journalists some the regarded this kind of new attitudes of Iran as religious some the fervor based on the Ahmadinejad's personal record and his personal some the religiosity. Okay, and third region, Arab journalists mentioned is the, attaining nuclear weapons. Okay, about, some 10% of all the, some articles, some the 312 articles mentioned about, some the Iran really, some, try to get nuclear weapons, but, in comparison with the, some the perspectives, some the offered and suggested by, some Arab some Western scholars and Western specialists, and the Arab journalists, some only 10% of their, some of the articles just mentioning about the Iran is really trying to get, some they have the nuclear weapons. Okay, and then your fourth one is, some Iran wants to develop nuclear power as a, some is is some the deterrence, some the purpose, and then some they, Iran wants to develop nuclear power or nuclear weapons in preparation of the possible the United States and then the Israeli the military initiatives. That's what Arab some journalists believes, and there's other some the opinions, the talking about some reasons behind the Iranian nuclear initiatives. And then what are the consequences of the some Iranian nuclear some program or some the Shia crescent discourse in the Arab in Iran. Okay, and then some there's only some 217 some articles mentioned about the consequences. Maybe possible consequences of the Iranian nuclear development in the region. The first, consequences, what they believe, what Arab journalists believes, is the destabilizing the region. The Iranian, some nuclear initiatives, some definitely destabilized, and then some is threatening the security of the some Arab world. About some the 50% of the all some the articles the examined some mentioning about the these consequences in their articles. And second, some of the consequences mentioned by these articles is weakening the regional solidarity. It's very some the interesting some the Arab journalists believe the Iranian some nuclear some initiative and is some the consolidating movement with other some Shia-friendly government and organization make the Arab world some the fragmented. Okay, the Arab world getting some weaker and weaker due to the Iranian some the hegemonic some movement. That's what the Arab world some journalists believe. And the third consequences, the about 13% of the whole articles mentioning about the consequences is the nuclear proliferation. Some Arab journalists, they know very well about the current phenomenon of some the nuclear some the initiatives some the declared and then some proceeded by some various Arab governments including Egypt and then other countries nowadays some even the UAE. I have written 2 books on the United Arab Emirates. They don't have any some the capability to develop nuclear some the power. They pronounced, they declared, and they are going into the some the development of nuclear weapons. Maybe they some the they invited some some Indian some workers, and there are so many Indian workers working in the street. They want to invite more Indian workers in nuclear site in the future. Maybe, I don't know, but and then some the final the fourth some consequences. The Iranian some the threat may invite the more U.S. some involvement, or some more some the Western powers involvement in the regional politics. That's what some Arab journalists some worrying about. And then final thing is some journalists, they really believe, and then Iranian nuclear program may some the bring about some the regional war, even possibly world war again from starting from the Middle East. Okay, and there's some other some the opinions. And the final one some. Then what kind of solutions some the Arab journalists have suggested? So we have to first look at the some the number of articles mentioning about the solution. Only 106. They are very shy to suggest solutions. And then we may say some the in Arabic the kalam kathir. They only talking about. And they, when they some the suggest some solution and the real action, they are silent. I don't know, some maybe some it reflects that kind of some Arab characteristics. And then some maybe some these journalists some are afraid of some retaliation from some Iranian intelligence. I don't know, some there's a very small number of from all of so from the total 674 some articles, only 106 articles mentioning about the solutions to the Iranian nuclear initiative and Shiite crescent. The first some the solution, they are also very some gentle and naive. Okay, Arab journalists some the suggested the dialogue. Okay, we have to do dialogue. Whatever Iran does, okay, we have to do dialogue. Through the some major countries like Saudi Arabia and Egypt and nowadays Qatar, or some maybe some the regional dialogue to solve the some Iranian nuclear issue. And then second one is a diplomatic. It occupies 75%. The majority of the some the solutions the Arab journalists mentioned is the dialogue. Okay. And second one is a diplomatic isolation. Okay, there's some articles talking about some we have to persuade Syria or some the Hezbollah to detach themselves from Iran. Okay, and then we originally we may isolate some Iran. okay, to make the damage to the Iranian nuclear, the economic sanctions, and then make Iran surrender this kind of regional pressure by itself. That's some diplomatic isolation. This the second solution Arab journalists have suggested. And third one is very small number of articles mentioned about helping regime change, okay, and supporting, and then especially in the period of election, they may ask the Western powers and then Iranian oppositions to the caddies to. Okay.
It's interesting. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. And then another very small number of articles mentioned about military actions. Yes, some journalists mentioned about Iran cannot be cannot change. Iran may not change without some very strong measures, and including military, and then they are not talking about the Arabs will attack Iran, but they may anticipating some military some measures from the United States and maybe from Israel. That's what they some opinion. Okay, and then that's my the analysis, and then other things actually Professor Ashir Susser have already explained. I just some introduce my empirical the analysis of the Arab opinions appeared in the Arab newspapers. That's why if I conclude my paper is as some Professor Susser mentioned, the ongoing ideological conflict between the Arab and Iranian some government is going on, and then some getting more and more serious forms, and then so it made this kind of some the ideological some conflicts and the confrontations may some persuade the other Arab countries to the work in the nuclear development. And then as I mentioned, for example, United Arab Emirates doesn't have any capability, but some many some intellectuals inside the United Arab Emirates some read this kind of news articles, and they they ride on this some new discourse, and they are pressing the government to do some action, to show some action. That's why some Arab government wants to declare that actually has declared some nuclear initiatives. Okay, thank you very much.
I'd like very much to thank Professor Chung Min Soo for his address. First of all, you kept exactly within the time limit, so this is a good example for our future speakers. And I personally thank you as a chairman. Second of all, we have a saying in Hebrew, misparim machkimim, numbers make you wiser, and numbers are very impressive. I myself, for many years, used to teach statistics in the university, so I like numbers, and I think the numbers are really eye-openers in getting an idea of a content analysis of how this issue is seen from a regional point of view. And